Hello you all, this is Ice Cream Gecko, and in today's video we're going to take a look at the Milka Vanilla and Chocolate Swirl ice cream. This ice cream on a stick, Magnum type ice cream on a stick. We'll take a quick look what it says all around the box, I think. Yeah, I don't know how much this cost, that I have to be honest of. This is information I cannot supply to you, but it looks rather standard. Nothing too special about this. This looks like regular, like Magnum type ice cream on a stick with a bit of swirly stuff in the center right there. I assume this to be one of these alpine milk chocolate types of Milka. Let's take a quick look at the nutrition table right here. Pause if you want to read that. Pause if you want to read all that supplementary information down there. Pause if you want to read the ingredients list in this language. Is this Slovakian? No. Something like that. It's something, that's for sure. Pause if you want to read the ingredients list in German, in Dutch, in French, in Spanish, and in Portuguese, and in Polish as well. Wonderful. So I read this for once, and this sounds weird. Vanilla ice cream with a preparation 6.5% with alpine milk chocolate, glaze with alpine milk chocolate 30%. This is a weird sort of non-sentence right here. It's a sentence, we've got a full stop right there, but this, I don't know, maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but this doesn't sound professional at all, I think. And it seems to be like the same thing with all of these other languages right here, because when I mispronounce the Dutch, the vanilla ice met de bereiding of the alpenmilk chocolate, it looks very, very similar to that. Anyway, so we've got skimmed milk, alpine milk chocolate, 35%, all sorts of stuff in there. I mean, no one really cares, right? You're watching a video of ice cream that is sold in German in English. Like sometimes I do wonder if people actually care what this is all about, or if people just watch this for, you know, something in the background, something for sleeping maybe. That's what I watch many videos for, right? Watch like certain reviews of stuff, and I don't really care about the reviews, but I just like to see somebody review this, and sometimes I like to fall asleep by doing that. And I'm completely fine if you do that with my videos. Okay, so we've got one single serving right here. I would assume that this is a single serving of ice cream. Individually wrapped. These ones are, of course, not determined for single sale afterwards. Let's open one of these up. Take a look at one. It looks, yeah, it looks like a Magnum. It's got that same, degenerate shape to it as well. It looks a bit like a middle-aged man, right? Got a straight back, and you've got that beer belly in the front. Yeah, very, very decent indeed. Give me a second, I'm going to put the rest of them in the freezer, otherwise they melt on my disc, and we do not want that, right? Okay, I'm back at the disc, slightly out of breath, but we're ready. We're ready to take a bite out of this wonderful piece of ice cream. Let's see if this has got a nice crack to it. Certainly has. You know what? The first thing that I noticed with the first few bites, or the first bite of this, like the first bite of it tasted exactly like a regular classic Magnum. Now that this sort of chocolate glaze does melt a bit in my mouth, it is quite a bit sweeter. Yeah, it does taste like the alpine milk chocolate of Milka, but there's the same problem again. And I think that this sort of chocolate doesn't really work all too well with ice cream. I think it's too sweet. It's sweet and also has a certain weird sort of sourness to it when it mixes with this ice cream that is just slightly off-putting, I think. So I can see one of these swirls right there already, but I've brought a knife for a reason, right? So let's cut this into 2 pieces. Here we've got those swirls. Yeah. To be quite honest with you, I thought this was going to be a bit more exciting than this. Looks quite boring. Like on the packaging, yeah, it looks appealing, but it doesn't look too dominant in here either. And when you've got this actually down in front of you, it's kind of boring, to be quite honest. Let's see if we can dissect this particular swirl. Okay. That's very thin indeed. Very, very thin indeed. See what this tastes like. Consistency-wise, it very much reminds me of rather thin Viennetta. If you haven't watched my Viennetta reviews up until this point in time, this is certainly something that you should do. Very, very interesting ice cream. Very boring overall when you eat more than just, I don't know, a little bowl full of it. But this consistency-wise with those swirls, yeah, it comes very close to that. Although the Viennetta swirls are quite a bit thicker. They've got a bit more bite to them, and they're made out of like darker chocolate, like a fat glazed chocolate sort of deal. And this stuff right here, it's just too light of a chocolate, I think. Yeah, flavor-wise, this is very similar to what I've tasted in my first bite. Yeah, it's not special. It's not special at all. It's I've got to say, a bit too boring to be different than a Magnum, because a Magnum is close to being perfect with that very distinct, not light chocolate, but this sort of darker chocolate glaze. It's very well balanced, very well balanced. This stuff right here, when it comes to the chocolate, I think it's too milky. It's got a certain sweetness to it, and then that, I do not know how to describe it other than being a bit sour in that aftertaste, but I think this is what it is. It's weird. It doesn't fit. It's a bit like these odd sort of yogurt ice creams with that chocolate in there. It's I don't know. It's weird. Yeah, I do think that this is pretty much it when it comes to the theme, the entire, I guess, picture of flavor that Milka, that Mondelez is being presented, is presenting to us here. That we are being presented by Mondelez, I should say. Are they called Mondelez or Mondelez or the Mondelez? Got no clue. I'm gonna finish this off now, and I'll be back with you on the review sheet in just a second, I think. Well, I do have to make one insertion into the video now. I've dug a bit deeper now into the ice cream itself, and something I can see here are one of these swirly things that is significantly bigger and thicker than the ones that were up top. So this one actually makes some sort of cracking noise when I bite onto it, so maybe you can hear that. This is the stuff that I did expect, and this is actually quite good. Unfortunately, it's not all the way up to the top, just here at the bottom, like from this way downwards. They've got that thicker sort of swirl piece. When it's there, it's fine though. Alright, the consumption process is complete, and we are ready to jump into the rating with the review sheet. First impression wise, 0.75 points out of 1 available point. The thing looked okay at first glance, very similar to regular Magnum that we all know and love. It just has a weird bulge to it, more of a bulge than there should be, I think, for this sort of simple ice cream. Sometimes you do get that when you've got these, for example, Magnum doubles, when you've got that 2-layer chocolate out on the surface that sort of swims on that caramel layer, then I would, more understand why it is bulgy or bulging out in some way. This right here is much more simple of a setup though, so there isn't really too much of a reason why it should look like this. It's fine, it's just not full points. 0.75 out of 1 available point in the first impression department. Depression is what I've got. Color-wise, 1 out of 1 available point. Looks very much like the regular Milka Alpine Milk chocolate, so this is what this is supposed to look like. 1 out of 1 point. Consistency and texture-wise, I give 2 out of 2 points. So when it was throughout, like it was on the very top, inside of the ice cream with those swirls, with them being so thin, then this wouldn't have gotten 2 out of 2. But being like it is here, with just the top being a bit thinner and on the bottom having very substantial swirls, I do want to give 2 out of 2 points, because overall that, I think, was maybe an interesting point about this. While it is quite boring otherwise, this right here they did do well, I think. Could be thicker throughout, right? Could be on the top as thick as it is here, but maybe that's just some sort of fluctuation that we've got in the production there, so I give them the benefit of the doubt in that regard. Taste-wise, 3.5 out of 5. I don't really have anything to complain about when it comes to flavor, because I do not know if that particular perception of that sort of weird souriness, that slight bit of disgust, it's just my personal preference. So if it really is something to criticize, because I do know that many people love this sort of light ice cream with light chocolate on top of it, right? I'm personally not a fan of that. I like sweet ice cream and like darker chocolate. They have some sort of contrast, right? This stuff right here is, I don't know, too much for me in the lightness department. So not my personal favorite, but maybe you think differently about that. So 3.5 out of 5. Not fantastic in a way that it blows everything else out of the water, and it's not bad either. So I think 3.5 is a fine rating for this. Themalization wise, 1 out of 1 available point, because I just have to assume that they took their own chocolate and put it on here. I think they probably did. So yeah, Milka ice cream, vanilla chocolate swirl. So we've got the vanilla ice cream, vanilla flavor ice cream. Is there actual vanilla in here? I didn't even check for that, did I? We've got natural vanilla aroma, and we've got extracted gemahlen ground vanilla shorten, vanilla, you know the thingies, right? The black long thingies. What are they called? So I just looked this up and it actually says vanilla pod. That's quite interesting. Okay, we've got those vanilla pods right there that are being ground up. Cool. So yeah, 1 out of 1 point themalization wise, and that gets us to an 8.25 out of 10 for the Milka vanilla and chocolate swirl ice cream, a magnum type ice cream on a stick. Overall, it's okay. It's not something I would buy again necessarily. I'm not a big fan of that sort of chocolate on ice cream, but personal preference. There's a reason, I think, why these are so popular, why these sort of like Milka flavored, Milka type ice creams pop up everywhere, and they always have this sort of light chocolate to it. It's not my thing, but it's the thing of many others, I think. And I think this is where I'm going to end this particular video. If you've got a question or a video suggestion, leave it in the comment section down below. And if you want to see more videos just like this one, please subscribe. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope I'm going to see you soon. Until then, bye bye.